Segment has been sponsored by the Ubuntu Room. Come join Dana Sardano as she offers life-changing advice that will affect the spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects of your being. Within her easily available writings, you will find the solution you need for your problems. Tune in to the Ubuntu Room on the Brooklyn Cafe Show.
Hi, my name is Dana Sardano, and this is the Ubuntu Room. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. Today's the day. Sit tight. We are talking crown chakra. But for those of you who are new to who I am and what I do, the Ubuntu Room is a place where we talk all things personal empowerment, all things spiritual development, and everything that falls in between. It's where we recognize, it's where we remember that the power is in our hands to create the lives that we desire. And as Dawn said, we spent the last several weeks talking about each chakra. I like to joke from the rooter to the tutor, but each chakra, what it looks like when it's balanced, what it looks like when it's imbalanced, and the importance of bringing them into balance. And today is the culmination of all that, where we talk about the crown chakra. Now, the crown chakra, so I keep doing this, it's located right here. It's represented in white or lavender. Greatest age of resonance is 42 to 49. And everything about the crown chakra is about presence and understanding our oneness and connectedness to all things. It's about non-attachment. And what creates imbalances in the crown chakra, and get ready because it's Broken Record Hour with Dana Sardano, it's all about misalignments in the lower chakras. In order to feel present, in order to not be so worried about what's going to happen or dwell in the past, in order to have oneness with all things without feelings of excessive worry or irrational fears, you have to feel safe. You have to feel strong and grounded. You have to understand that you're the creator of your reality and have a passion for your purpose. You have to be empowered and have a sense of worthiness. You have to have identity, know who you are. You have to have an open heart, love without condition or expectation, have forgiveness in your heart and compassion for others, free of resentments. You have to speak your truth, live in your truth, and live authentically. And then ultimately, you have to be connected to your gifts, your discernment, your clarity, your vision. And when all of that, like zipping up that zipper, like I've mentioned, when all of that is in alignment, your crown chakra is open, your channel is open, and you are connected to the magic all around you. I don't know if you remember, but several weeks ago when I was talking about, initially talking about the chakras, I mentioned that we are all an aspect, a fractal of much greater creative divinity. It's like blowing up that surgical glove. And when we are all aligned, that energy, that creative, all-loving, all-knowing energy, we become imbued with it. And we no longer have to rely on things externally. Now, the one thing that I want to focus on in talking about the crown chakra is this idea of non-attachment. I talk about presence and oneness and connectedness, but non-attachment is extremely important in having a balanced crown chakra. Now, I know I teeter on irreverent, but like when I think like non-attachment, teeter. But when I talk non-attachment, like people's perspective in the spiritual community, they think you have to like give up all your stuff and only have the clothes on your back and sleep on the floor and live like the monks. And that's not the case at all. Non-attachment is about disconnecting from what no longer serves us. And what's amazing to me is how the things that we are attached to that we don't even realize. Like, I wrote a whole recommendment in 10 Recommendments for Personal Empowerment, 6th recommendment, by the way, about attachment. We attach to things like identity. Oh my God, when I left my career in education, I grieved for like a year because it took me so long to detach from that identity. We attach to stuff. Stuff is meaningless. We are the ones that attach meaning to stuff. We attach to old beliefs that no longer serve us, that we don't take the time to look at, or old patterns, or relationships, or outcome. When was the last time you did something because you just enjoyed doing it, not looking for the outcome? So it's really, really important when we do all of this alignment stuff, again, from the rooter to the tutor, that when we finally get to that crown, we look at the things that we attach to, because we attach because of imbalances, insecurities, feelings of shame, feelings of guilt, excessive worry. That is why we attach, because we feel better by attaching. You know, excuse me, there's a relatively, I don't know, I would say famous, but a well-known yogi. I'm not really familiar with his teachings, but I saw an interview with him once, and I was really taken with what he had to say. I'm going to butcher his name. It's Paramahamsa Yogananda. I'm pretty confident that's his name. Again, I likely butchered it. But he was asked, in the journey of enlightenment, in the journey of spirituality, do you have to give up all the things? Do you have to detach, essentially? Do you have to stop smoking and stop drinking and stop gambling? For me, give up wingy. Like, do you have to give these things up? And he was like, you don't have to give any of it up. None of it. But you may want to. And that struck me so hard, because I've seen that in my own life, in my own development. You know, back in the day, and if you've read my books or heard any of my stories, I was into everything. Like Dana's got stories. Like, I was into everything. And as I've evolved and released things that no longer serve me, I no longer care to be involved in the things that were destructive or toxic to me. And it's really something, because I do believe that many of us, or most of us, or hopefully all of us, ultimately want to be sovereign beings. We want to not have to rely on external validation, or not to have to rely on any assistance for our well-being. And in order to do that, we have to become sovereign beings. And when we do that, we don't need to fill the void or self-soothe or numb or distract ourselves. And that is what alignment looks like. And when we ultimately do align ourselves, and our crown chakra is open, and again, our channel is open, and we are connected to all things, that is when we are able to manifest, to create the lives that we desire. Now, next week, we are going to talk about manifestation and alignment. And again, back to me being irreverent. Too many people think they know what they're talking about. They're like, I'm going to manifest a car, and I'm going to put up my vision board. And then they get frustrated because they don't get the things that they want, because there's a little bit of a misinterpretation of what manifestation really is. But if you understand your energy centers, and just to bring it full circle, when I first started doing these segments, this is like, I think, the 16th one. So this has been about 4 months now. When I first started doing these segments, I did my introduction, I talked about Ubuntu and stuff, but I did a whole series on the clairs. I did a whole series on knowing what your inclinations are and what your natural giftedness is, whether it's clairaudience or clairvoyance or clairsentience and so on and so forth. And so many of us have these abilities, and maybe we've seen touches of them, but we don't truly tap into them because we carry the weight of the world. We carry burdens. We're distracted. And then I went into the chakras, and I covered all of what it looks like balanced and imbalanced, all the aspects of self. So I showed you what you could do. We're looking at what's keeping us from doing it. And now if we're following along, if we're doing our homework, we are aligned up through the crown chakra, and now's where the magic happens. So this idea of understanding energy, understanding our energy centers, and now being able to read, interpret, manipulate energy, and create that magic in our life, this is where we're going. Super excited. Super excited. So next week, bring your notebooks. That's what we're going to do. Before I hand it over to Freddie and Dawn, I just want to show you something really quickly. So everything that I'm talking about, even though all the chakra stuff is in each book of the trilogy, Veda Finds Her Crown, I wrote initially for like adolescent kids, but I've done workshops for adults. It's really Chakras 101, if any of this speaks to you. I wrote this book, and I created this deck of cards as an accompaniment. It's got like hot tips and like, exercises. It's like for fun, right? But I also just published, and I mentioned this last week, I just published a 9-week curriculum for teachers that are interested in educating the whole child, are interested in the children's, their ability to process their emotions, homeschoolers, and it's really an awesome tool. But before I published it officially, I printed it out in this form from Office Depot. It's the same exact material, but I just printed it just so I would have it in advance. I'm giving them away. If these speak to you, if you think that this is something that you could utilize with the children in your life, whether you're an educator or a parent, grandparent, whatever it is, I'm happy to give them to you. Now, don't bother Freddie and Dawn. They got plenty of my other stuff that they're giving away, but contact me directly. I could bring it to you. I can mail it to you. I can get it to you. The only kind of catch is that you need the book, you need the cards in order to utilize the curriculum. But if it speaks to you and this is something that you want to incorporate into your raising, educating of your children, I've got 2 of them. So hit me up, boonfishgallery.com. With that said, as always, thank you for listening. Next week, bring your notebooks, manifestation and alignment, and you know the rest. Ubuntu.
You be you.